Gold Squad TV. What's up, y'all? Today's Tuesday, and I wanted to do something different. Only because it's not really different based on me being a Celtics fan and wanting to talk about this, but I think it's time that we finally have this discussion. This is not a knock to either one of these guys. They're the future. They're the present and future of the squad, regardless of what happens this year. So I'm in no way I'm harder on the other one than I am with the other, which I'll explain. But it's nothing but love for both of them. Now, with that said, you're wondering who I'm talking about. I'm talking about Jayson Tatum and Jaylen Brown. Now, let me be the first one to tell you they're both extremely talented. They're both studs. I'm going to tell you the differences between the two. Jaylen's a much better finisher at the rim. He's a much better finisher at the rim. He's got a much better mid-range game. I wouldn't say much better, a much more consistent mid-range game. He gets to the rim a little bit more. And his three-point shot has definitely improved. By far our best player this year. I'm talking about Jaylen Brown. But overall, a lot of y'all look at Jayson Tatum and see him in the Subway commercials, see him in see him in donut commercials, you see him in these Jordan commercials and Gatorade commercials. And Jayson gets a lot of the hype. Now, I'm not going to say I've in the past have been angry at times watching him play and said that he's overhyped. I don't think Jayson Tatum's overhyped. He's just extremely frustrating to watch sometimes. I think the difference between him and JB is that JB doesn't mind going to the rim and getting hit every now and then. To where I feel like JT, even with lifting weights and getting stronger, he still hasn't figured out how to take contact consistently. He also doesn't get to the line enough. He only averages 4.2 free throws a game, which is good for 28th or 29th of the league, if I'm not mistaken, just behind CJ McCollum, who just shoots jumpers all the time. I feel JT needs to work on his game in the off season. They all do. But here's why I think JB is better than JT right now. JB's a little older than JT. He's about a year and a half older than JT. And I think you're starting to see the maturity really show its face. Like, you're seeing that JB right now is the more mature of the two. He takes a lot of the pressure. He takes a lot of the blame. And he gets a lot of, he basically goes out there and he performs at 100%. Even when he's got a messed up leg, he'll give you 100%. Now, here's the problem with Tatum. Tatum, in my opinion, gives 100%. It just doesn't look like he gives 100%, if that makes any sense. I feel like sometimes losing doesn't hurt him. It's like, we'll get back the next game. Doesn't really, seeing a lot of David Robinson in him. Now, for youngins out here, guys that don't know what I'm talking about, David Robinson was a superstar center for the San Antonio Spurs back in the 90s. And what David Robinson biggest knock was the fact that he was an extremely talented athlete. Probably one of the most talented centers to ever play in his prime. Could have easily probably went down as one or two of the greatest players to ever live. And he had the motor consistently and the killer instinct. But he's really a nice guy. And David was never gonna be the dude to trash talk you on the court. David was always a high road. I'll take the high road. My team needs me. He'll put up the points when need to. He'll even be clutch in moments, but come up short when you expect him to be the best player. The problem with that is that JB is a killer. You could tell when you watch JB in press conferences, you could tell it bothers JB when they lose. It just drives him nuts. You could tell he's a leader. You could tell he's a guy that I've known this since his rookie year, where I see like it just bothers him when they lose. And then JT, I'm not quite sure it bothers JT. I think JT is so super talented that I think sometimes he forgets that, talent isn't always going to win you games. And talent isn't always going to make you the best player to ever live. Perfect example, Michael Jordan obviously is the greatest player to ever live in basketball, right? But Jordan wasn't highly touted coming out of high school. He legitimately had to work his way into that North Carolina system and play Dean Smith style ball, which is just move the ball, non-selfish type of game. Dean Smith pretty much held Jordan back from averaging 30 a game. He got the NBA, you see him kind of beast he was. I don't see that. I feel like Tatum has been touted so much. He won so much. He won in college. He won that 1 year in college. Even though he didn't win the championship, he was on a winning team. In high school, he was the top recruit. He was a guy that, he won his state championships. You could look it up online. The dude came up big in big games in high school. The problem with that is that I feel like he feels that his talent is enough for him to get by. Jason, let me just tell you, because I've been a little hard on you and I've said some things that I kind of look back at and I'm in my videos past and been a little too massively angry at you. I'm not gonna go at you hard on this. You gotta want to win, man. It's that simple. If you want to be the best player on this team and be an MVP candidate every year, it's not enough for you to just score 25 points, 8 rebounds, and 6 assists. You got to have a killer instinct, man. You got to want it. You got to be the best player. You got to, it has to agonize you that you're losing. And maybe this game doesn't really agonize you like that, but the fans are looking for you to be the best player in the league. Yeah, you're 22, but at some point, when does the age excuse start going out the window? There's guys younger than Jayson Tatum right now. They're 20, 21 years old, having impacts all over the league. Jason's been in the league since 2017-18, but that means he's been in the league for going on 5 years. How much time do we have to wait until we start seeing that dominant guy consistently? I see JB being that guy because it just seems like every year he's going to continue to get better and he's not going to let people tell him he's not good. He's just going to prove his stuff on a court. I feel like you, JT, need to stop doing these commercials and focus and get in that gym and work on your full body. Not just your upper body, but your lower body. You need to work on your dribbling since you keep fumbling the ball and trying to sidestep and do sidestep threes and step backs and stuff. Enough's enough, bro. You gotta prove it now. It's time for you to show and prove. You could be 22 right now. That's fine. But this is this is your moment. Not just to hit game winners, but we need to see you dominate. And it's not enough for fans who love your game to see you just go away from what makes you great. The problem I have with Jayson right now As I think he's trying to do what the analytical dudes keep trying to tell him to do instead of doing what makes him great. The Celtics clearly win when Jayson Tatum's doing what Jayson Tatum does. They clearly win. When they go away from that and they start trying to make Jayson Tatum into a point guard and start trying to distribute, that's when we lose. Now, Scalabrini's going to sit there and say, in order for the Celtics to win, they got to move the ball. Ball movement, it can't be selfish ball. Listen, this is a superstars league. That team ball bullshit doesn't work in the NBA. Role players need to play their roles. There definitely need to be pecking order. You want to have high assist numbers, go get a point guard that can get you high amount of assists. It spreads that. Other than that, I don't want to hear it. What's it going to be, man? Like I said, though, right now I have to say JB is the leader of this team. I have to say JB is the best player on this team. That's not to knock Tatum, but Tatum needs to prove it to me every night. I'm just not seeing it right now. I feel like this year, the numbers are going to say he's progressed when he's averaging more than he did a year ago. But I've yet to see dominant Jayson Tatum. And unfortunately, a lot of you guys are going to be tricked and hoodwinked by ESPN. Because ESPN is not going to tell you. They don't watch Celtics games all the time. Anybody that really watches Celtics games knows what I'm talking about. That said, I love JT. And I know that a lot of people think that I don't, but I love JT. I just want the best for that kid, and I want him to understand his talent. Not just me, but everybody. You should always want this kid to realize he's an incredible talent. Win, lose, or draw, I want to see this kid at least put up 40 points in a couple games. Even if we lose those games, I would like to see him show me some burst. So right now, like I said, it's JB's team. I don't have a problem or qualm saying it. Right now, it's JB's team. That said, it is what it is right now. That's all I'm going to say. JB versus JT. I got to give it to JB right now. That could change, but if Jayson Tatum actually starts getting hungry and wanting to win. Last year, I seen that killer instinct during the season. I don't see that killer instinct right now from JT. He needs to really start showing up here. Gold Squad TV, subscribe, salute.